I literally pulled out equity, clock's ticking. Like my wife's going, we pulled the equity out. You better find a deal, right? Like we're losing money, right? And so for me, that was always the case, always chasing deals down. And so then because of that, it was like trial by fire. So I think probably the thing that I talk about the most and help people the most with is the deal funnel. It's really interesting. If you're a wholesaler, you don't wholesale without a deal. Like that is your lifeline, right? And ultimately, all of us real estate investors, if we can't find a good deal, we don't make money, right? But there's other ways to find deals. Like if you're a multifamily investor, maybe brokers are bringing you deals. Maybe you're always looking on market. And in a way, I kind of feel like it's backwards because you can find somebody to do everything else for you. You can even find somebody to underwrite for you, to go ask who's a great lender, right? I can make 5 calls right now and have 10 great lenders, or maybe a loan broker, right? Or anybody that connect me with any one of these capital, all that stuff, but nobody's going to bring you a deal. Like, maybe you've built a relationship with a broker, maybe you'll get lucky and you find one on the market. So I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but if you're trying to expedite your process, if you learn how to source off market deals for yourself, like you are ahead of most of the game. And so I'm using that. I'm harping on this a little bit because what happened for me is like, I always had a deal. I always was looking at a deal, whether it was something I was like, underwriting or putting under contract or buying or operating or taking over. I've always had a deal. My first deal I bought within like 2 months of doing this. And so what happened for me is there was always excitement. Like we all know like what the dopamine hit is like when you're chasing down a new deal. And then you close and you're like, oh God, okay, I just made a lot of money, but like what's next, right? And so by always having a deal in front of you, it's almost like comparing that to going fishing and like one guy's not even getting bites. Like you're done. In hours, you're like, this is the worst hole. This sucks. I hate fishing. And the other guy's like snagging, maybe hasn't caught a deal, but he's like fish every couple minutes, whatever. Like that's the excitement. And so the more you can put yourself in that excitement, that's what I'm talking about, that momentum, right? One example. And then correlating to that, as I was finding deals, I was having to figure out how to take those deals down. And so I could sit here in my house and go, man, I can't wait to be an investor. Like, what do I do first? What do I do first? And maybe I should spend 4 hours learning how to underwrite. Maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I didn't do that. Like, I literally pulled out equity, clock's ticking. Like, my wife's going, we pulled the equity out. You better find a deal, right? Like, we're losing money, right? And so for me, that was always the case, always chasing deals down. And so then because of that, it was like trial by fire because, I can say, oh, I'll underwrite for 4 hours today. I'm going to call 10 people. I'm going to find 15 lenders just for homework. And like everybody knows, that's really sucks. And it's very boring. But when I have a deal that I just signed on the dotted line and I got 30-day due diligence and then my 100 grand goes hard, like I'm not a lazy, but like that is when the clock is ticking. Like it is crunch time. It's go time. You cannot mess up, right?
Yeah, it sounds like you were able to basically figure out a way to light a fire. And part of that is putting yourself in an environment where the deals themselves, the environment itself, you're in the game, right? And I'm thinking about the Michael Jordan documentary recently on the Chicago Bulls and how he said he would create these situations in his mind where he'd be in a battle with somebody on the other side of the team. Like he figured a way to light a fire inside of himself and basically let that drive him to greatness, right? Even though the other person may not even know they're in that battle, but he would do that. And I hear what you're saying is like, by having these deals and these deal flows, this is creating the excitement by having that big vision of what the cash flow can be if we can sell it, if we can raise this capital, if we can do this deal, make sense of it, right? That's going to X this amount of cash flow. And that's going to create even more momentum.